Have you ever wondered how to create motion graphics like this on CapCut? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly that. Oh, by the way, this is a very long tutorial, so I hope you enjoy listening to my voice. All right, guys, to start this motion graphic, what we're going to do is go on our file, grab this, and what I like to do is just keep this around my timeline so I can always go back to referring on this picture. So the first thing I'm going to create is the background. So what I want to do is I want to get like a black background. So right now on CapCut, what we have is something called stickers, or shapes should I say, and I can just drag this, so add this here. So now what I can do is make this big so it fills up the whole area, make it black so it's looking a bit like this. Alright, now I want to create this header, or what I can do is maybe, yeah, let's go with the header. I think I'm going to create this header first. So what I'll do is click on shapes again, and I'm going to do it here so I can almost do it exactly the same. So do that, do this, move it along here. Add some curves. Second. There you go. I can see there's still a bit of space left, and it should be roughly looking like this. Yeah, I can see that's almost identical. So now I can just move this along my timeline here. Actually, you know what, let me bring it back here again, just make sure it's at the same exact spot. Bring it down a little bit maybe. Okay, now that looks good to me. So now I'll just move this across, and now we've got that here. So the next thing I'm going to look at is, I can see there's little dashes here. I'm also going to quickly just change the color of this to, so come here, click on here, change the color, click here, pick on color picker, and pick this color here. Okay, that's all good now. Just want to remove that. Yep. So now this is what it's going to be looking like here. Now I want to go back here again. So I just want to make sure that color's been changed. Yep. Okay, now I want to create these little dashes here. So what I'll do is go in here, add that, rotate it, make it straight, make it small, zoom it in a little bit. Just see if it roughly fits that area here. It's a little bit bent, so I'm just gonna make it straight. That's fine now. So now we've got, yeah. Copy, paste, bring that here, copy and paste, bring that here, actually, you know what, I'm not gonna bother with moving this one now. I'm just gonna slide that across here, slide it across here. What we're essentially trying to do here is just create this interface. So I'm starting with the top header. Now maybe I can create something like this. So go on here, go here, it's just about the same. Bring that over here. Now when I go here, as you guys can see, I've got this here. Slide it up a little bit. I've got that here. Make that a little bit straight. And yeah, I've got this little interface here. So then later it will be a little bit easy for me to animate. The more individual parts you have, the easier it is to animate later. So I'm not going to bother with the blue summary and add data. I might just create this and have maybe steps up here, because I feel like that's an important part of the interface. So now what I'll do is, there's a lot of thinking behind this, by the way, so, and I'm also a very, like, you know, a beginner doing this, so just bear with me, guys. This tutorial could end up being quite long, so yeah, just bear with me. So now we're gonna create steps. Should be easy, just get a text layer. I just wanna put in steps. Roughly the same. I can even go with Monstera as my font. And yeah, now I can drag that here. Now when I go here, I've got steps there as well. The only thing I'll say is I feel like I have to have this border. Otherwise, it's gonna just look like it's just there. So what I'll do now is create this border with stickers again. Add. Zoom it in a little bit. Now bring that over, I'm going to put that there. However, I'm going to change the color. Go back to color picker, make that color, and yeah, now I've got this. So I'm slowly making the interface. Okay, now I'm going to try and start making the main, part of the interface, like what we're exactly looking at. So I'm just going to focus mainly on this area here. So what I'll do now is, now I'm going to try and create this. But I'm just going to zoom in to see, okay, there's some lines around here. I need to create this, create that. So yeah, okay. Basically, eventually at the end, I want to have all this animating in, all this animating upwards, to the levels slowly. And then just want to see what this exactly looks like. Okay, cool. It's very faint, so just need to maybe fade it in. But all these small details do matter. So now what I'll do is I think I'll just work downwards. So I'll start with average, write that text. I'll go with the same font. Yep, so that looks okay to me. Yep, it's basically at the exact same place. Now I want to create, get that. That is no longer capital, so normal S. That's fine. Now put that again here. Then now let's do the numbers. Numbers I'm gonna did that by accident. Bring that back here. 14,122. That is a different font, so might go with this. it's roughly in the same position. It's going to be very difficult for me to get it exactly at the spot. So now let's have a look at what our interface is looking like. Average could be brought down a little bit maybe. So I'm not sure if I want to just check this out again. I feel like it might be too big. Yeah, I thought so. When you're creating these interfaces, you do have to play around with these quite a bit. So yeah, now I'll bring that back here. That means I'll need to adjust all of this as well. I think that looks a lot better now. I can see how it's planning out to be, or what it's gonna eventually look like, hopefully. So that's good now. What I'll do is I'll just create the time. Okay, now let's make I'm thinking of making this. So what I want to do is maybe grab like one of these, place it in that corner. Just want to make sure that looks just about right. You're always going to be a little bit off sometimes, but you're just going to have to deal with it. Maybe I can make this a little bit more like this. Move it over. Actually, I don't think I need to make this because I've already got black background. So why would I need to make that? I think I just need to make the lines. Yeah, I would say just make the lines. So if you guys can see, there's dotted lines here. Instead of solid, I'm going to use dotted lines, sorry. That's fine. Copy that, paste. Just going to bring them all here. This one there. Paste that. Bring that here. Just going to zoom in to check. Just going to drag it along here. Okay, now copy that, paste, bring that along here. Again, copy, paste. Copy, paste. Copy, paste. Now they all look good. The only thing is I'm just going to reduce the opacity to 20% maybe. Yeah, that looks a lot better. It should be very faint, so select all of them. Let's do 12%. That one also 12%. Okay, now I could group them, but then I don't want them to, I don't want them to come all together in the animation. Copy, paste here. Okay, as you guys can see, it's quite faint here. Maybe for now I can just increase the opacity to make it easier for me to see where my boxes need to be. Not sure what that one's playing around, to be honest. Alright, now I can just maybe make a line here so I know where. So I know where the bars are going to be starting. So grab that. Put that line there. Stretch it along. There has to be dotted lines as well. Okay, now so we've got I would say when you are bringing it to your sort of layers, maybe just adjust it to what you feel looks good and feels right as well. So I know this could be around here. This could be here. Average could be here. As long as we can get a similar look to what iPhone has given us, that's all that matters. Okay, now alright guys, so now that we've done the lines, you know, the numbers, the average, headings and the steps heading, and also the little scroller at the top, now I believe we should move on to the next step, which is creating these orange bars. So what I'm going to do is I am going to do them one by one. So go on to stickers again, and now I will go on to shapes, click on this, zoom this in a little bit, try and line this up. if I hold shift, what happens? Okay, goes like that. Just gonna try and center it maybe to make it easier for myself. Yeah, now when I stretch it, bring this down a little bit. I think that looks perfect. So now, just add a bit of curve maybe. That's fine. Color picker. I want it to be this orange. Now, perfect. Now that we've got that, we can just move it up here. Yep, we've got that now. And to be fair, you don't need it to be, you know, the exact bars as these ones. We can have it different level. So I'll just go in here, copy, paste, bring that over here. Or actually, I want to have the same. Is it the Y or the X? Okay, let me just try the Y. Okay, no, we want the same Y position but different X position. So 294, but I want it over here. So I can see I've slightly moved it up, so bring it back down. Or I need to make this shorter. Okay, so if I make it shorter, it's going to be different Y number. So I thought that might work, but yeah. Anyways, now let's move that over here. Let's do another one. Let's bring that here. Make that a little bit longer maybe. Copy, paste. Bring that here. Bring that, make it a lot shorter. Paste. Bring that over here. I might make it slightly longer. And then copy, paste. Bring that over here. Make that a lot longer. And then now one more, which is going to be here. And I'll just double check because, okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. This one I'll just make it slightly shorter. Bring it down here. Perfect. Now we've got this app coming along. And you guys will see, you know, at the end why I'm doing certain things. So again, just making sure this is lined up. Just need to bring these back here. Perfect. So now we've got this health tracker coming along slowly. Coming along slowly. Okay, so now let's do DWM6MY. Let's get those done quickly. I'll just select one of those, paste it here. So I'm just going to zoom it in so it's easier for me to. This one will make it W. Just trying to line it up best as I can. This one will be M. This one will be 6M. Then the last one will be Y. Just to make sure I've got the right color. So I want to make sure, let's zoom it in a little bit, get the right color as this. Okay, that's fine. Now what I can do, I can just copy this, go on to 6M, paste it here so I don't need to keep doing the color picker. Paste it there. And then paste it here. However, I'm just going to double check. No, W is basically the same. I just want to know if it's a different color when the scroller is on different sections. So now I can copy these. What I'll do is I'll just bring them here. Just want to place it where I can. Okay, perfect. Okay, I can see they're a little bit off point, so I'm just going to bring it like this, or I might just adjust them individually, bring them somewhat in the middle. W can if you zoom it in, it gives you a bit of movement. Now M, okay, and we will have it somewhere here. 6M somewhere here. Y somewhere here. Perfect. It actually looks like a, you know, Apple health tracking app. So now what I will do is, I think I could maybe get rid of this top bar and steps, because I think when people see this, they already know what they're looking at. Because my plan is I want to bring this section down here sort of in the middle, just because then we're not left with that massive gap underneath. But yeah, let me see what it looks like with getting the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and I'm trying to keep it as minimalistic of a motion graphic as possible, because if I have space down here, I'm gonna have to put in trend, unavailable, trend, steps, and then maybe even create this section here. And I think that might get a bit, you know, complicated, and yeah, especially for CapCut, it probably won't even be able to handle it. But yeah, let's do these now. Let's do Wednesday. So let's go on here. Let's paste that here. Cool. Let's go and do. I like to zoom it in as much as I can. So wet. Copy and paste. Bring that over here. Bring another one here. Oops, did I make a mistake? Yep. That was, I didn't copy and paste it properly. So bring that over here. Copy this, paste it. Let's just bring that here. So now we're sorted. FRI. By the way, any long bits like these, I might just skip them, because it's because I don't want to bore you guys with, you know, me just typing in some letters. And then Sunday. One. And then two. Okay, now that we've got all of that, now we can look to move them. So I'm going to move them. I'm going to move them up there because well, I'm just keeping them somewhat layered in position because, so as you guys can see, that was my last orange box. So after that, because they're underneath, I'm putting these layers on, you know, on top of these ones. Hopefully that made sense. Just because I like my work to be a little bit organized. It's not always easy. And then now, Thursday, we can have it here. Friday. Yeah, CapCut does that sometimes. It's not gonna, it doesn't sometimes handle projects too well. That also depends on like your computer, your, you know, how much RAM you've got, this and that. I've got a MacBook Pro 2022, I believe, 8 GB RAM, so it should do okay with CapCut. Okay, now my plan is, okay, so what we'll do is, I think I'm going to get rid of this because I think everybody knows I'm talking about the health tracking app. I'm going to select all of this. Oops. Okay, I'm going to select all of this. Come on, scroll up. So I've got that all selected. Bring that down a little bit. I want it to be somewhere in the middle. Okay, that's in the middle. Okay, now. Okay, so the way I'm thinking is I'm planning, so I know definitely what I want to do with the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Now let's zoom this in a little bit. So I want them to come in one by one like this, in like a chronological order sort of thing, and sort of in sync sort of as well. Also, I was wondering, maybe I should get the 10,000 and 20,000. What I can do is maybe have them numbers going up as the bars go up. I think that'll make the motion graphic quite interesting. What I wanted to do with this bar was stretch it so it will start in the middle, but it will stretch left and right. Okay, so now, yeah, let's do the 10,000 and 20,000. I think the more like subtle details you have, it does look good. Just gonna bring that here. Yeah, I think that looks quite good. Okay, now if I go into here, so that was the bar. If I do animation, look, if I do fade in, that can work, but I think it could look better. If I make it a compound, so create a compound clip, mask, add mask, let's do rectangle, so I know that's where it is. That's the mask. Now what if I was to do something like go like this, and then it opens up. Maybe add a slight feather, so beginning of the, so I can add a keyframe here, so add that. Oh shit, actually, you know what, I should have done the previous keyframe first. And then like that. So now if we go back, if I click off here, can you guys see it got that look? Yeah. What I need to do next is, I like it, it's got that little feather effect. Yeah, so I think that looks good. Obviously I'm gonna need to shrink K. Gonna need to smoothen it out a little bit. So cubic out. Yeah. I think that's all good. Yeah. So if I use cubic out, it will be a lot smoother. Yeah, so now we've got this. So if I show you guys, I have to click off that. Maybe I can stretch it out a little bit. Also at that keyframe, maybe I can have it even smaller, so starting from and then what I can do is I can have the D coming in slowly. So it will come from the bottom, but it will have to be timed at a point where, so it needs to be around this point here. So D will come in. then the W, then M, then 6M, then the Y, and how I want them to come in is, so that's fine. I want to, so just before, just after the W comes in, so around that time I want it to be, so yeah, I want that to be on. So transform, blend is okay. However, when it's at starting position, I want it to be down here, and transform keyframe, opacity all the way down. Copy that. If I paste it on here, okay, no, it's not really gonna work. So again, transform, no, not there, sorry. Actually, I could just turn on here. Just before that comes in, same again, transform, opacity. However, go back to the previous keyframe, opacity down here, and bring the W down here. So then we'll have something like this. Yeah. I might just stretch it a bit more to give it a lot smoother. Smoother look. Yeah, I think that's a lot better. Obviously the keyframes will be, you know, smoothened out. We go into here now. But if you guys get bored, like I said, of seeing these parts, you can skip it since I'm doing the same exact thing. Actually, just for me to be able to see it better, I'm gonna bring it down first. But if I reduce the opacity, then I can't see where the letter is going. Not sure why this ain't moving down. Yeah, be careful of making that mistake. You don't wanna, so you're gonna click on the keyframe and then move it down like this. And then I'm gonna reduce the opacity now. Now I will do the same here. Transform, blend, Go a couple of seconds forward. Transform. I'm not sure why it's doing that. And go to blend, opacity all the way down. Perfect. And the last one, we will do that as well. Transform, sorry, wrong place. Let's start off here. Transform. Opacity. Bring that here. Then maybe here. Then transform again. Okay, now that's done. You go back to the previous keyframe. Bring it down. Bring the opacity down, and M, I'm not sure why it's stuck. So when it's there, it should be here. Okay, now let's have a look at this. Start over. Okay, I don't know why 6M went down instead of up. Let's have a look at that. So when it's at that position, it should be up here. Opacity should be up. That should be fine. And then at the previous point, it should be down here. And opacity should be down. Okay, for us to have a smoother, I think that looks somewhat good. Now it's just about this line. This line should come after M, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at M's keyframe. Okay, now make that and option G. Option G, yep. Now that I've made that compound clip, now we can do basic. Actually, I don't think I need to. I think vector image, yep. I can do it here. So we'll put a keyframe there. Okay, that's all done. Even done the opacity. Bring that over here. Transform, yep. Now if we go back to the old keyframe, okay, not too bad. I just want to make sure I can Okay, I can still do that. So now let's do the same about this one. Just want to make sure the timing's right. So when M is just before it finishes, I want to start it there. I think it'll look smoother then. So 6M almost finishes. That's when I want this one to come in. Bring that here. Again, transform. Opacity is already done. Go back to the old keyframe. Bring that down. Opacity already down as well. And now it's gonna look something like this. Okay, which isn't too bad. Okay, now we want to see, that's the thing, you can't make compound clips long. So what I'll need to do is may need to undo, make that a lot longer. Yeah, I would say the best thing to do is make all your layers long, so then you've got enough room to work with. So because I'm doing it, let's make it 15 seconds. Maybe move that down here. Make our background 15 seconds. I think with 15 seconds, that's enough room for us to work with. The animation should be done in 15 seconds. So stretch all of that out. You can do it like this. And bring them here. So that was a little mistake that I didn't really think would need sorting out, but we do have to make that a change. So now we've basically got, so we need to make this a compound clip again. Mask it again. Add mask, rectangle. Put it in the middle like this. Add some curves. Okay, that's fine. And then we can do the animation where we go from, add a slight feather. You know, that's the curves, my bad. Very slight feather, maybe even at 4. So put a keyframe here. keyframe there, go back to the previous keyframe, make that small like that. Might have to make it quicker, so obviously I'll need to do the Option K, fix the smoothing out, so cubic out. Okay, now let's see what that looks like. That looks a lot better. And with this one, with the grey box, what I want it to do is, once they've all come in, I want it to go from left to right. So add a keyframe here. And then yeah, so I've got a keyframe there. So Y comes in, this one can come in here now. Move that, no. No, sorry. So that's fine. So we've got that keyframe. So we put that keyframe there. Go back to the previous keyframe. Maybe just move it over to the left. Just want to make sure. I just need to move it a little bit more. Okay, that looks quite cool, I think. Yeah, I think I'll leave that like that. And then basically with motion graphics, what you sort of want is things just sort of happening. So that was those couple movements. Obviously a lot of them will need smoothing out in a bit, and then the rest, what I want to do is have it come in as well. So yeah, let's do that after. So I think for now this looks good, and then we'll work on the next part, which is average 14,122 steps, and then all these boxes and everything else. Alright guys, so this is what it's currently looking like, where if I open it up, this is what it's gonna do. But I feel like I could maybe make this a little bit longer here. Grab these and drag them along to where, sort of around here, and then that means this needs to also be moved to around here. So it should look something like this. Maybe a little bit faster, so around here. That means I need to move these along, unselect that. Okay, that's fine now. So oh yeah, I do need to move the lines as well. So after M is when this line comes in. After 6M is when this line comes in. So now we got something like this. Okay, not too bad. Obviously, when you're making motion graphics like this, you always need to just keep playing around with, you know, the keyframes, the smoothing out, the timing, all of that stuff. But let's move on now, so we're not wasting too much time here, and we can always come back later. So what we're going to work on now is average and the numbers going up, and yeah, so let's work on average. I think, okay, so what I'll do now is, since I know this is when it completes, I can maybe move all of this stuff. So grab all of that, move it along here like this. Alright, so now we're going to work on average. I'm going to see if there's a I don't like typewriter. Don't mind this. That's too slow. I think with the text, I think I could just use I think I might just go in with waving, like use the preset animations. I don't need to sort of animate it myself. I think all of these ones are too, like, they're just too much. Like, yeah, that's too much for me. You want it to be somewhat subtle. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go in with the one that I liked first, waving. So if I now look at this, obviously all the other ones just appear suddenly, so it doesn't help. But now we will bring this here just because I think it will make sense. Alright, so when this is waving in, we can have this scrolling up. So the way I like to do this, so I know 14,122 is the last number. It can be any number, to be honest, it's not a big deal. So what we're going to do is maybe start from 0. Actually, I wouldn't start from 0 because it's 14,000. That's going to be quite high. Let's do 5,680. to that one. Go couple frames ahead, break that. Now it's gonna be let's do 5,985. So go back here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let's do 6,482. Actually, I have to break it. I need to break that, then do 6,000. 6,482. Go back to here again. 2, 3, 4, 5. Break that. 7,555. Go back here again. 1, 2, 5. 8,700. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is another method to having numbers counting up, but I'm just going to use this one for now. 9,680. So what I'll show you guys is, look, you can see I think this one might be too long, but let's see again. Let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Yeah, so the more intervals you can have, the more realistic it will look. So can you guys see it's going from 5,000, 9,000. I'm gonna have a couple more, obviously. Like I said, I want to make it as realistic as possible. But also if I move this, so let's say if I drag it along around here, move the steps around here. Maybe with the steps I can do the same waving animation. So it will look something like this, average. Maybe start earlier. Yeah, so let's work on it still. So 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Break that. 10,103. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 11,386. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4. 2, 3, 4, 5. 12,000. 9, 13,856. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was meant to be 13,000. Right, now break that. Let's just make this our last number. 14,122, our initial number. So now it should look like this. Steps, will bring it around here. Cool. So let's have a look at our animation right now. So we're going from this. That might be a bit too slow. Yeah, I like this a lot better. Alright, cool. Now I want to animate all these lines, and I've thought about how to animate this. So there's a couple different ways. I could just do animation and do fade in. Sorry, you won't be able to see it too clearly. So you'll look. Yeah, as you can see, it just fades in, but I think I'll rather have. I think I might also keep the opacity like this, where people can actually see the lines, just to make it a bit more visible. I know iPhone doesn't necessarily have it like that, but what I want to do now is, so I'm thinking either have it scrolling up with a mask and doing it one at a time, or having them all come out at the same time and having this line go across at the same time. Okay, so let's see what looks good anyways. So I know these are all the lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is why the order is very important, especially if you've got multiple lines and stuff. You need to know what you're going to be selecting and stuff. If, like, let's say the first line is here, second line is there, and then third line is all the way up there, it's going to get really confusing selecting them. So I know under this layer is all my lines going upwards, and this is the layer that's going sidewards. So yeah, I'm going to try all of them at the same time. So what I'll do is select all of these. Create a compound clip. I need to find the bottom layer again. Okay, and to deselect that. See, look. I'm pretty sure, no, there is no line there, so that's all right. So that's the bottom line. Okay, cool. So select all of these. Create that as compound clip. Create this as compound clip. So now, okay, I'm gonna just move all of this to the side to somewhere maybe like this. So when this goes up, so just when it's about to finish, that's when I'm gonna have my lines going up. So mask, add mask, split, turn it around this way. I'm gonna start from here. So basically by the time this, yeah, so around here, I want the mask to finish. So go all the way up. Put your keyframe there. Bring it back to around here where the steps is, just about to finish. Bring it all the way down. Just about here, so there's a little fade of them. And now you can have something like this. And then when the lines are touching roughly around here, I'll have this line. So around here I can see the lines are almost touching this line here, the bottom lines I'm talking about. So I'm going to go on to this line here now. Mask, add mask, split, turn it around, add some feather. And when that animation finishes, I want this one to also finish. So that's when this animation finishes. That's when I want this one to finish as well. So put a keyframe there. Bring that along here. Put that keyframe there. Obviously, like I said, we still need to smoothen things out. So far, this is what the animation is looking like. Let's play it from the beginning. So we got that, 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 that. Cool. Okay, now we need to animate these orange boxes. And I'm going to have them all scroll up individually, just because I think it will look cool. So now I'm thinking, okay, so when this line gets completed, we will have Wednesday. So this one. So that's when it gets completed. You basically don't want to leave too much space for like too much empty space, like waiting for animation to happen. So animation here, and the one that says sliding, I believe. There was a slide up. That's not too bad. Okay, I like this one. So slide up. As soon as that slides up, I want this box to come up. So what I might do, yeah, I'll keep these layers underneath. That's not a big deal. So when this slides up just before it finishes, bring that here. And then, so now I need to make this. Make that a compound clip. Basic, no, sorry, mask, add mask, split. Again, I'm going to tilt this. Let's add some feather to give it a bit more of a little touch. I might bring this around here. So start it maybe at the same spot there, but start the mask when it comes up slowly. So just like hit around here. That's when I want the mask to start. So Wednesday, the animation finishes, and around here is where I want the bar to finish. Alright, so Wednesday yeah, it's because these lot come in, so it makes it a bit funny. What if I was to start that? Okay. Yeah, that can work as well, starting it whilst also that's coming in. Yeah, I don't think I mind that. Yeah, so that can work. And then I think I'll do the same with the rest. So what I'll do is, so you're gonna have to keep playing it again and again just to double check you're happy with how it's coming out. Okay, so as the bar is about to finish, we can have Thursday come in, and again animation. I'm just gonna make slide up a favorite, so I don't need to. So just hold it. I'll just press that, so that's in favorites now. Yeah, so I can just go here and do slide up. So as that is sliding up, again make this a compound clip. Same again, add mask, split. I'm just going to quickly check the feather on this one because I want the same. Okay, 27. This one, add some feather, 27 as well. So that will be the beginning. Add that keyframe, and then by the time this finishes, we want to have the keyframe going up. See, that's too fast, I think. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to move these layers because they don't help when it comes to reviewing what I'm seeing. Alright, cool. Yeah, so that looks somewhat in sync. I always like to go back and play it from the beginning just to see what I'm working with. So that is too long, I think. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. Okay, now we've done Wednesday, Thursday. Wednesday started at, or now we want Friday to come in just before Thursday finishes. Go on my favorites, slide up animation, bring this one, not when it finishes, but so you need to zoom in for you to have better control over it. And actually, you know what, I think, yeah, so these layers always started with these ones here. Option G, create that as a compound clip. Go here, add mask, split, feather 27, rotate that. Okay, now let's count how many frames it was. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 30, yeah, 36 to 37. Doesn't need to be perfect, but I just want to make sure I'm getting the gaps right. So this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. That one's 33. So now this one. Alright, so I just want to see, this one goes just beyond when it passes. Yeah, so anywhere around sort of here, I think I'll be good for this one. That's when I want this to finish. Alright, so it will look like this. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, I like that now. Alright, cool. Now let's do the rest. So you bring in Saturday. So Wednesday, just before it finishes. Okay, cool. Animation, slide up, and then start at the same time as the text layer. Now go here, add mask, split, '27. So now I wanna go. Okay, so around here is gonna be there. So put that as a keyframe. Just before it completely finishes, or just after it completely finishes, we can go up. So it will look like this. Yep, that's fine with me. I'm gonna smoothen out the keyframes later anyways, so yeah. Okay, now let's do Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Monday, Tuesday. Okay, so Tuesday, we want to move it. Here. This around here. Bring that there. Put a keyframe there. Don't think we even added the slide up animation on that. And that's it. I think that's all that done. I'm gonna leave these. Yeah, I'm gonna leave these quite long just because so I want everything to be aligned with this. So when it all comes to an end, it's all gonna finish together nicely. Bring that back here. It is kind of long doing all of them one by one, but you have to do that. There's no, I mean, I could split it all, but I'm just thinking about if I need it just in case. Whoops. So yeah, this is what it's gonna be looking like. Okay, this is what I've got so far. That comes in, that scrolls. So what I was thinking of doing is having these numbers here, 10,000s, scrolling up from the minute this comes in. So 2, 3. So every 3 frames, I feel like we should change it. So this will be 0 at first, and then 1, 2, 3. So break that. 100. 1, 2, 3. Let me break them all first. So that's 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. Actually, you know what? Why don't I just do them together so I don't need to? I'll just... Now, if I select them both together, I can just cut them all. 2, 3, 2, 3. Okay, so around here. Alright, cool. So now that we've got here, so 100, 100, sorry, 0, 100, 150, 187. Let's do that. Let's change that to 38. So the bottom one we're trying to get to 10k, so might be a little bit. 256, 289. So let's do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 1k. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 2k. 3k. Okay. Now we can start going. So it will look something like this. So as you guys can see, it goes up to 1,800 and something. But I need to obviously change these ones as well. Did I have a comma in? Yeah, I did. So I need to make sure I put a comma. Yep. By the way, this part is going to be really long, so you guys can skip it. So now I'm going to go bigger intervals, sorry. So 6,755, 7,952, or maybe I done it too early, so I'll just go. I'll go back to small intervals for a bit. 8,000. This is really long, but I just have to do it for the sake of this tutorial. $10K. Alright, cool. Let's see how the bottom one's changing. So just look around this corner here. Okay, that's not too bad. Okay, now we want to do the same for the 20K up here. I'm thinking since this one is going in really small intervals, I might just make this one bigger intervals just to make less work for myself, but then it's not really gonna look good, so I'm just gonna stir away. I can Cool. Let's start off with 0. So 0, 150, 298, Alright guys, so I'm finally done now. So this is what it's going to look like, these numbers counting up. And that's it. Alright, so this is what animation looks like from the beginning so far. That's not too bad. So yeah, let's go here where, and I think we can cut everything here. So select all of this. What I am going to do now is I'm gonna have a look at some sound effects to give this animation a better, feel to it. I might just fix this as well quickly because I don't think I'm happy with how slow it is. That means these need to be, so we'll have that come here like this. So once that is done, this one will come after M. This one will come after 6M. Zoom it in a little bit. This come here. Right, so now I do need to smoothen out a lot of these. We'll do that later anyways. A lot of these keyframes, so quad out. Yeah, I like cubic out. Cubic out is one of my favorite ones. Option K. I think around here we're good. Now we need to bring these. So we brought these in. Average. Maybe make that a little bit faster. Maybe whilst the average is coming in, we can have the counter going up. Steps coming in a little bit earlier as well. Yep, that looks good. the steps are just about coming to an end. We can have this come up, this one come around that time. So option K, cubic out. Yep, that looks fine. Option K, cubic out as well. Option K. Now I should be able to just select all of these and just move them to where, around here. Yeah, so now cool. It's just now about smoothing these out. So it looks more smooth. That one's done. Not that, sorry. Yep, that one's good. Next one. Cubic out. Next one here. Cubic out. Option K. Cubic out again. And then the last one, option K. Cubic out again. You do need to sometimes zoom it in so this enlarges and you can see this part here. So now this is what it should look like. So let's have a look from the beginning. That comes in, that moves across, they all come in. It does feel a bit rapid for me, so might just stretch it out. Stretch them along. So now it should look like this. That's not too bad. Right now, where does the counter stop? Around here. So go up, cut it around here, and that's it, that's done. I don't know why 14,000, 1,200 stays on. Yep, that's why. Because you want it to. Now that I've done this, by the way, I think what I want to do now is I want to select all of that, and I'm going to create a compound clip of all of them. So everything gets selected as a compound clip. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this as like so I want this to be obviously the frame. So what I'll do is I want to have this like slight zoom out effect. So let me show you guys. So yeah, so scale, this is the position that I like, and from here maybe zoom. Let's see how this would look. Let's go on the keyframes now. Scale, ease out. Yeah, I don't know, I think it just gives it a bit more of a nicer look, but I need to see what it's like. I don't like having the grids around. I just want to see what the video would look like. And then here, when it's just about finishing, I want to have a fade out. So it doesn't just cut off. And that's it, guys. I think that's the animation done. Alright guys, so I've just selected some sound effects and some music from Epidemic Sounds. I'll leave a affiliate link down below for you guys to be able to sign up as well. If you guys want to get your own sound effects and stuff. But this is the music that I've chosen. However, I'm thinking, yeah, so this is the music. Sounds okay. I think it goes quite well with the user interface. I'll just drop it down a bit just because I don't want it to be too in the face. Now I've got some sound, not that one, sorry, that one. And this, can delete that one, we can delete that one as well. Got that. So I'm going to try and use this for where the numbers are going up. So around here, but drop it down a lot. Yeah, that actually looks quite good. So around here it stops. Do that. I'm going to drop it down even more. I want it to be so subtle. Maybe increase it a little bit. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, now for the bars, I was thinking of adding this swoosh. So every time a bar comes in, so I think here is fine, but oh, that actually looks quite good. Sound effects does make a big difference. So that's one. Copy. Wait for the next one to come in. So around here, but timing it right is really important. And then the next one is here. Can you see I'm moving it to the left because I know there's a gap here and I want the swoosh sound to start here. So yeah, and then wait for the next one, which is here. I can make this smaller so I can have it on the same layer. Copy. Cool. Let's see how this sounds now. I think that sounds alright. I just want to bring these down just because I think they might be too loud for me. I want it to be very subtle, so and the numbers counting up. Not that, sorry. I'm going to add a fade out just because I want it to go off quite nicely. Yep, that sounds good. When these numbers start, I want it to start again. But I don't want any fade out on this one just yet. Paste another one. That is when it stops. Get rid of that. fade that one out. So this is what it would be with the sound effects. And the music definitely needs fading out because you don't want it to just go off just like that. That's it. I think that's all good for sound effects, I think. I'll get rid of this. So now we have our animation and this is what it looks like. Maybe I can make it full screen for you guys. Play it. And that's it, guys. That's the end of the tutorial. Hope you guys learned something from my tutorial, and yeah, let me know in the comments down below what other sort of tutorial you want to see, and let me know in what areas I can also improve in to make my edits better. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this CapCut tutorial, and I'll try and make more for you guys. Thank you for watching again.